Guys, hello, welcome, Dine at home, cooking on. I forgot what week it is, so I'm not going to go into that. All I do know is the lockdown and we have got pretty busy. So thank you so much to absolutely every one of you who have purchased a box this week. It is a sellout, so absolutely ecstatic about that. But no, honestly, and on an honest note, thank you to everybody who has purchased a box, and equally thank you for considering us to just make it a nice, light, exciting touch to your lockdown weekend. So thank you so much. Any newcomers that are with us this weekend? Milk bread. So obviously with your milk bread, that just goes into a hot oven at 180 degrees, which should be already. Obviously it's word in your instructions, preheated 180 degree oven, and also your beautiful Marmite butter. Obviously because it's cold outside, guys, make sure you just keep that at room temperature as soon as your box arrives. With your milk bread, this is a tear and share. So obviously as soon as it's baked, get it out and tear and share it. Have that before your starters, and yeah, hopefully you enjoy that. I'll put that to one side because we'll move straight on with the starter, which is a beautiful, even if I do say so myself, a beautiful black bean beef short rib croquette. So obviously we've brined the beef short rib, we've then obviously flaked it all down, made our own black bean sauce, reduced that with the cooking liquor from the beef. It's got really sort of beautiful, thick and glossy, and that's super tasty. Mix that back through with a little bit of tarragon, and we just pressed that, obviously sliced it and then panade it, and then very lightly pan fried it. So it's just sort of almost just pan fried on the outside, so it's still relatively crispy. When it gets to you, probably won't be crispy at all, but that's when we put it in the oven. So you can either put it in the oven in the tray that you have, or you can just take it out, a little bit of greaseproof paper, which I'd recommend to pop underneath, which I'm going to grab now, and then just pop it in. It'll probably need, what, 5 minutes maybe? 5 to 6 minutes. Obviously you do want it to crispen back up. A little bit of fat will come out of it, that's the beef, and also obviously the residual sort of fat that's stuck to it from the frying. Pop that into the oven, 4 to 5 minutes. I'll pop it in now, and I'll speak to the garnish. We may have to stop, and you can then come and join us once the beef is done, okay? That's in the tray. So with your garnish, you have a beautiful apple and celeriac remoulade, which is similar to a coleslaw if you're not quite aware what that is. It's very simple. We've shredded down some celeriac and some apple, lightly seasoned, allow that sort of drainage to happen, and mixed with a beautiful mayonnaise, enriched with a little bit of horseradish as well, because it goes so well with the beef. A beautiful wild watercress salad, super in season at the moment, and to be fair, I just can't get enough of it. I think watercress is delicious. We've made, with the leftover of the black bean sauce, made a beautiful black bean dressing, which again is super rich, super sort of almost like a umami. So again, don't be too hasty with that because that will overpower the whole dish. And then a beautiful, this is just one portion, so you get a nice one, but we've done a baked, caramelised baked apple puree, which we're using Bramley apples, which again, with the beef and the remoulade, it all sort of ties in, as you can tell, and that's all delicious. The great thing about that, that's all at room temperature, so all we need to do is literally just heat that through our beef fritter. So join me in 3 minutes. Join me in 3 minutes, and we'll go for the plating. All right, see you in a bit. Okay, guys. So the beef fritter has been in for 5 minutes. So I'm going to grab that now, and we'll work on a nice little plate from the start. To be very careful, as always. These get super hot as well. If you would like to test it, just get a little a blunt knife, basically, if it's a butter knife, whatever. Stick it in the middle, obviously hit it on the tongue or the bottom lip. Obviously you guys know what we do with that. Just make sure it's piping hot. Whenever you're reheating something, just make sure it's absolutely piping hot. Okay. So watercress salad. This is all for 2 people, bar the apple puree. So we'll just pick out. I'll just pick out some choice leaves with this one. Again, it's quite obviously it's banging season, so it's going to be its peak flavour. So again, if I mean, some people I know sort of find watercress a little bit peppery or whatever. When it's going to be mixed in with this dish, there's absolutely no way this is going to be the prominent flavour at all. It will just, if anything, gives you a bit of freshness and a bit of freshness, a bit of lively sort of character to the dish. So don't worry about that. You will definitely enjoy this one. Okay, so we'll go into plating. So I'll put that into a mixing bowl simply because I'm going to put a little bit of dressing on there. Celeriac remoulade, and then the apple caramelised apple puree as well. It's quite dark, but again, it's just absolute pure flavour. So as you can see, the black beans, sort of the essence of the black beans on the bottom. You can see that? Yes, it's on the bottom. So you just want to make sure we can sort of stir that in. And it is completely emulsified. It will just take a couple of stirs. But as I said, it's super strong. So give it a try before you, before you actually dress these leaves in it. You probably won't need it all. I'll probably put enough there actually for 2 portions. But obviously keep it in the fridge and it will last for weeks. It's got no meat, it's a completely vegetarian based dressing, so you're absolutely fine. Okay, so very carefully, so it's crisping up really nicely that is actually. So very carefully, because it is still really hot. Put your beef fritter. I'm just going to put it slightly off centre, because now I'll build the garnish sort of off from that. Slare it, remoulade. Again, with tasting things, guys, you can taste all this stuff before you put it in. You know, if you're unsure on anything, I mean, that's sounding big headed. You're going to say, you know, think it's delicious. I mean, of course you are. But give it a good taste before, because it might be something that you you haven't tried before and you're just unsure of it, and you want to obviously enjoy your meal in complete confidence. So if you want to do taste, I'm just going to go really old school, because I did a quinoa a couple of weeks ago, some cabbage, and had so many comments, all positive ones. There is no school like the old school, so I'm just going to do a little quinoa as well off there. A few times when it's as neat as possible. There we are, fold that really. So I'll pop that onto the side there. There we are, beautiful. Nice and close. I always say to plate all your dishes nice and close. It's just so you're not chasing around the plate, sort of trying to get all your garnish. Beautiful spoon of your caramelised apple puree. Honestly, that's so nice. Brown apples get real tartness. Then like a sweet caramel comes through at the end as well. It's just all in all, it's just real delicious. It's just starts making my mouth water. Really delicious start. And then with your watercress, again, you can be quite sort of creative with it, because it's obviously not nice sort of leaves. So. Beautiful. And leaving the beef, so you can sort of see that stem of remoulade all in there. And then, last but not least, any residue that you've got in there of that beautiful dressing, just nick it all over. So we've got nice little spots in the dressing. And there we are, that is your starter, guys. Very in keeping with the seasons, as always at Dine at Home, making sure we do that. Just a beautiful braised beef fritter, which is a short rib of beef with some black bean sauce through it. Wild watercress salad, dressed in a black bean dressing, slare remoulade, and some beautiful caramelised brown apple puree. Guys, enjoy your starter, enjoy me in about 10 minutes for your main course. Okay guys, so hope you enjoyed your starter. Me and Michael have just eaten it. I think it's absolute flavour bomb. It's actually quite sort of not light, but it's quite refreshing as well with the apple and the watercress. So hope you enjoyed it as well. So on to main course, and it's a beautiful creedy carver comfy duck leg. So we brine these. Brining, if you're unsure, we always use a wet brine here. At Dine at Home, it's always 10%. So it's 10% salt, obviously to water. We've got a little bit of aromatics in there as well. So normally a basic brine to us would be sort of black peppercorns, thyme, a little bit of garlic, and then we just infuse that. Wait until it goes cold, and then we basically back that for 24 hours, and it just gives a beautiful seasoning, but equally breaks down the meat a little bit more than if you were to confit not brining it. And then we confit them in a water bath overnight for about between sort of 15 to 18 hours, depending. And then obviously we just put press them, put them in the fridge to chill them straight away, and then you can basically, that's how you get that finished product. All you need to do is put it into a pan, roast that skin up so it gets nice and crispy. So that's a little bit of insight into what we do with the duck legs. So the garnish is some beautiful roasted caramelised parsnips that have been roasted in honey and butter, and then finished off with toasted sesame seeds. We have only roasted them in the pan, so they will need to go in the oven for a good sort of 8 to 10 minutes. And then a beautiful comfy shallot, which has been confit in duck fat. Yeah, in duck fat. That's one between two, so I'll show you how to halve those in a second as well. And then you get a delicious, delectable, rich parsnip puree. And then you have a lovely duck sauce, which you can see on the top. There's some soaked golden raisins as well, so they're to heat up together, hence that's why we put them on top. And to finish it off, you'll get loads more than this. This is literally just scraping the bottom of the barrel because we sold out this week. But this is a beautiful pear ketchup, slightly acidic, not like our normal ketchups, which are really acidic. We want that freshness with this dish because there's nothing fresh on the plate, so we want to make sure it's fresh, not too acidic. So that's with there. So we are going to roast the duck leg with you now, parsnips, and then the shallot as well. So first things first, and that is to halve the shallot It is completely cooked, so be very careful. As you can see, it's got a fat side and a long side, so what you want to do, you want to cut it up on the fat side. The root, Michael's prepped these, and the root on them is still very, very vaguely attached. You'll just see the root on the bottom. That's fantastic because it enables you to keep that completely intact and as one. So it's one each of these, or one half each, but I'll obviously roast, I'll take them both over. I will only roast one half. I'll pop them all onto my tray, and then we can go forth and cook. My pan is on a low heat now, but as I said to you on the instructions, make sure it's on a medium, maybe even to high heat. You don't want to rush the duck at all, and the reason being is because it will turn sort of, it will roast too heavy too quickly. So a little bit of vegetable oil in there, pop your duck leg in. That's the exact sound you want. If it's frying too heavily, that means you're going way too aggressive. Okay, that is exactly the sound that you want. That's on a real low to medium sort of heat, and straight away you'll see it's even starting to colour and caramelise then. We just want to get the top of that skin used to that heat. That's all we want to do. So join me in about 2 to 3 minutes, and you'll see a very different colorisation. At that time, we'll then add in the vegetables, a little bit of butter, and into it. So see you in about 2 minutes. Okay, guys. So you've joined me. It's literally been about 3 minutes. Okay, so just really low and slow. As you can see, that caramelisation is absolutely beautiful on there. So I can show you now. Absolutely beautiful on there. Okay, guys. So be very delicate with it because obviously the hotter it gets, as you can see, little bits may just come off. Pop that back in. We have removed that thigh bone for you for ease of eating. Anyway, so that's obviously in there. So your shallot, I've popped that sort of that flesh side, that inside down. That's because we want that sort of caramelising and colouring first. And then I'll pop my parsnips in as well. And obviously the maple and the little bit of butter will come off that as well, so I'll add a beautiful bit of flavour to it. I'm just going to add a little couple of knobs of butter in there as well, beautiful. And a tiny bit of seasoning just on top of the parsnips, and just on top of the shallot. And that's it. That's all you've got to do. Don't flip it upside down. Don't do anything. You can just lift that slightly if you want to get the butter underneath, and so on and so forth with the shallot. But that's it. That's all you've got to do. And we'll transfer that into the oven. We'll transfer that into the oven. For this oven will probably take about, I'll probably say 8 minutes. But at home, I'd definitely do it for a bit longer. I'll probably do it between sort of 10 to 12 minutes because you want that duck to sort of relax. You don't want to cook it too aggressively because it's already been cooked, so just reheating it. Alternatively, you can put a little foil cartouche over the top as well if you'd like. So that could be a little bit more protection on it as well. So right, I'll see you in about 8 minutes for the plating. Okay guys, so there is 1 minute left on my timer. I'm just going to quickly run through the garnish. So pear ketchup, that is at room temperature. Pear puree, as you can tell by the lid, that's going to the microwave for 30 seconds. Okay, I'll heat it right through, give it a nice stir. Perfect. And then my sauce is just on the stove, super hot as always. I've just started to melt that down beautifully. It's a beautiful consistency. I've obviously got my my raisins in there as well. The golden raisins are literally in there for a little bit of citrus. As I said to you, the pear's the only sort of freshness on the plate. Same with that. Raisins are beautiful fresh when you eat into them, but that's give you a delicious sort of vibrant freshness. But just, yeah, it's perfectly reduced, so don't over reduce it, just bring it up to the heat. That's plenty. As long as it goes over 85 degrees, you'll be absolutely fine. This should go off any second, hopefully, and as soon as it does, perfect. Look at that. It's almost like, oh, I knew that was going to happen. And then very carefully remove that. It's super hot. So please, as I always say, please be careful with that. It doesn't need resting at all because obviously it's already fully cooked, and it's a harder used sort of meat. So again, you haven't got to start to fill it, you haven't got to rest it and allow all that sort of penetration to go back in. But as you can see, the parsnips are beautifully coloured. The shallot is beautifully coloured. I'll flip it over to you and I'll give you a quicker, closer show. And I'll also flip the duck over as well. I'm going to enjoy this. Okay, so there we are. So look at that shallot, beautiful, nice and crispy on top as well. Duck leg beautiful, parsnips equally beautifully coloured as well. We've left all the flavour in that one pan there as well. You know it's on, obviously. Deliveries are going out, that's all, so we've just got to make sure we serve you all. There's no point doing a video if you're not going to get food, is there, to be fair? So, parsnips are on, parsnip puree is hot, beautifully hot, sauce is on, duck's ready, we're ready to plate. Again guys, totally up to you obviously how you plate it. I'm going to duck leg straight on in the middle. A little bit of that liquid, so obviously it's butter, but also it's the honey and the butter for the parsnips. A little bit of duck fat in there as well from the shallots. So all that is going to add delicious flavour. I always, little tip, I always just coat each individual piece with a little bit of fat as well. Mainly flavour, it gives it a beautiful sheen as well. So I'm just going to put those on top as well. Beautiful. Okay, good. Super hot. And I'm just going to put nice dollar. A rich parsnip puree on the side. Perfect. May as well. Why not? And then slightly lighter. Prepare ketchup, pepper puree, start with this in it. Top those, let's just put them again. Okay. Right. Oh wow. Okay, and then we've just got the delicious sauce with the unbelievably hot handle that I already knew about. It doesn't stop me, idiots. Okay, so I'm gonna actually sauce this your side, right, just because it was delicious. So talk you back through it. Beautiful, comfy duck leg. It was nicely caramelised, roasted the fat on top, the skin on top. Beautiful duck fat roasted shallot, which obviously we roasted again. Parsnip as well. Purees, you have the beautiful buttery puree, acidulated pear ketchup, and then just to finish it all off is this beautiful duck sauce, super rich, those lovely raisins, all on top, and then you just want to just pile that sauce all in and around, all on top. There we go. Beautiful. Look at that. If that isn't autumn, if that isn't late autumn on a plate, otherwise, guys, enjoy. And I'll see you 15-20 minutes for one of my favourite tarts in the whole entire world. Enjoy it. Guys, hope you enjoyed the main course. It was absolutely delicious. The duck was really soft, and yeah, I just thought the whole garnish was beautiful, proper autumnal. Okay, so onto the dessert that we've done obviously. And again, as I said, one of my favourite tarts. This is a beautiful duck egg custard tart, so it's super rich but super soft in the centre as well. Just exactly how I like the duck egg custard tarts, to be fair. You haven't got to do anything with this. You've literally got to pop it on your plate and you literally just dress the whole dish in and around there. You will get a beautiful couple of plouches of your ice cream. I will do a rocher, obviously, of ice cream, so I'm not using any of the already portioned bits and pieces. And also, this dish is really difficult. Well, not difficult, it's just like an egg custard tart in its own, it's just delicious, so you don't need to add anything to it. But I do think, because it's so rich and creamy, I think a little bit of acidity works really well. But if it's like too acidic, like it's like a super, you know, like a summer berries, or if it's like a strawberries are okay, but if you're like doing raspberry or blackcurrant, it's just too strong. So I've gone for a marmalade. So the marmalade got a little bit of bitterness to the ice cream, but it's still sort of rich and delicious. So this is a gingerbread. This is actually a grass-made gingerbread recipe, which is nice and strong. And again, if you put that in the fridge, it's actually really nice in the fridge, to be fair, because it firms up a little bit. Just quite a bit of butter that goes into it. And then with your ice cream, I'm going to take it from the one that we've literally just churned. But you got this, you get this real rich sort of creaminess to it to start off with, and it just sort of tones down, and you get this sort of bitter end to it, which is essentially the marmalade, which I think is just beautiful. And that is literally the dessert, and it's stunning. So you got a beautiful baked duck egg custard tart, grated with a load of fresh nutmeg, your grass-made gingerbread crumble with your marmalade ice cream to finish. Make sure you obviously enjoy that all together, and I'm sure you absolutely love it. So enjoy that, guys. Finish off with your fruit and nut fudge, which is becoming to be a bit of a firm favourite with the Dine at home. can only thank Mikey because he makes it every single week. This one has cranberries and hazelnuts. Cranberries and hazelnuts in. So I hope you enjoyed that, guys. Thank you again. We have sold out this week. The menu goes live tomorrow for next week. Please continue to show our support, show your support to us, because we need you now more than ever. Thank you so much. Have a fantastic weekend. Stay safe, stay sane, and see you same time, same place.